Growing up, I spent a fair amount of time at landfills. On family road trips from South Florida to the Carolinas, we'd stop at equipment yards, waste facilities, landfills along the way. And it was not until much later I realized this is not a typical family vacation. As a child, I noticed there was not a lot of women at those places. Fast forward some 30 years, and I still spend a fair amount of time at these same places. And what I noticed then, I still notice today. There's not a lot of women in the field. The emergency management industry has made significant strides with diversity. That's something to be acknowledged and celebrated. Women now lead at multiple levels. We have women FEMA regional administrators, women state directors, but a lot of that diversity, a lot of that access for women tends to still be concentrated in the professional and white collar environments. It's time to get more women in the field. It's time to get more women at every level of emergency management. Emergency management provides stable, financially beneficial careers for women. And the emergency management industry needs women at every level in order to truly achieve resiliency and effective planning and response. The emergency management careers, related careers like solid waste, public works, waste management, equipment operations, need more women and girls. We still don't see girls and women in those positions at the same rate that we see men and boys there. And thus, we don't encourage our girls and women to access those opportunities. And this is compounded for women of color. What if girls and women knew that in addition to, for example, the retail and service sectors, that they could enter emergency management and the related careers and have significantly higher future earning potential? Minimum wages in this country range from $7.25 an hour to, in few places, upwards of $15 an hour. Working 40 hours a week, you're looking at around $31,000 a year annual salary. What if girls and women knew? What if we encouraged and told girls and women that careers in emergency management provide a totally different future earning potential? For example, in the private sector emergency management, project managers can be making upwards of $1,200 and $1,500 a week on average starting. That salary is doubling the annual earning of the highest level of minimum wage in this country. And what if girls and women knew that entry-level field operations on average start at $15 an hour and can quickly increase in salary, experience, and responsibility to upwards of $35 an hour? And what if girls and women knew that in the public sector and in government, you could have a fulfilling career in emergency management and related fields, and you could have a strong salary and strong benefits as well? And what if girls and women knew that there's a fascinating industry acting in a safety officer and related fields, and that entry-level positions for safety officers are significantly higher than minimum wage? And without higher education, but with certificate programs, on-the-job training, and other courses, you could quickly increase in the ranks as a safety officer and be able to provide stable, strong income for you and your family. For women, this is a real game changer, and it's a real game changer for our industry. So what if girls and women knew about the financially beneficial side of emergency management, but also, and equally importantly, they knew that a career in this field would allow them to make an impact on their community, especially during its time of need? We need more girls and women in emergency management. We need more women to see themselves in these careers. And we need to see them there too. We need to see women in these careers not only because of the individual financial impacts, but because emergency management needs this to achieve resiliency. Women are more often the caregivers the heads of household, the lead purchaser for their families, and those with stronger ties to grassroots organizations, religious organizations, and the nonprofit sectors in their community. The emergency management industry turns to these same places when we're looking for support for planning and disaster response efforts. We know that disasters exacerbate existing inequalities in communities. And we know that disasters disproportionately impact women and people of color. Thus, women, and particularly women of color, are disproportionately suffering the impacts of disasters in our communities. More women in the field at every level of emergency management will change how those individuals and their families respond to disaster events. It'll change how those individuals and families plan for disasters and how they receive public disaster-related resources. And it will change how our government and how our leaders plan for and respond to events. Until we fully integrate women into emergency management at every level, we will never realize our industry's goals of achieving resilient cities and effective planning and response to disaster events. So we need a shift in knowledge and in mindset. And that shift starts with you.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
I just assumed that some of the departments would send women. Oh my God. I am part of the problem.
Excuse me, everyone. Did anyone notice that there are no women on the Gender Equality Commission?
So I leave you with this call to action. First, market to women at every level. Look at your marketing resources. What is the content? What are the images that you're conveying? What type of marketing and job fair type events are you attending? For the government, look at your private sector partners. Can you hold them accountable to the diversity initiatives in your community? Number 2, support girl-oriented STEM education programs and provide trainings and internships to women in your community. We need to focus not only on those girls and young women and increasing the opportunities, but focus on the families also. There still tends to be cultural and community biases against women in some industries, such as equipment operations, working at landfills, or in other waste management type services. We need to work to end that stigma. And third, for the leaders in this room, work towards inclusion at every level of your team and focus thoughtfully on succession planning. Go beyond quotas and numbers for diversity and work towards true inclusion. And find innovative ways to make sure women are part of your team at every level. It's time to see more women in the field. It's time to see more women at every level of emergency management.